Bum 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 bum. Hey, bum bum bum. Ladies and gentlemen, KocoSports.com proudly presents Wrestle AM. It's half wrestling show, half morning show, pretty much all BS. And of course, you got the Koco crew here on it down live. Yours truly, sexiest man on all Internet Wrestling Radio. That's right, Boom Boom here, shaking the room live in Mobile from Sweet Home, Alabama. And of course, join me their way across the pond in Kawasaki, Japan. None other than One Take Dave Koco.
Hey, what's going on? All right, Boom Boom. What do you got for us today?
This is where I do my Lance Storm impression, if I could be serious for a moment.
All right, let's be serious.
Well, Coco, this is kind of like a little bit of a news break here, but something kind of caught my eye over the past week here is WWE Network is going kaput. It's supposed to be officially offline, I believe, April 4th, but I think some people that I've spoken with are saying it's already down now. But what's happening is WWE is transferring all their material to the newly formed Peacock network. That's the streaming service that NBC has launched. And it's part of like this $1 billion deal that WWE has reached with NBC, and they've got the exclusive rights for WWE material and everything. But here's a little thing. The PC police have now come for professional wrestling, Coco.
Never.
Because
this is the first time this has ever happened in history. This has never happened before. This is the first time. This is groundbreaking.
Yep. So what's going to have to happen now is, and I'm quoting from a Forbes article here. It's
is it crazy
by,
that Forbes now covers pro wrestling? I remember when KocoSports covered pro wrestling, people thought we were crazy. They're like, "What the hell? You have sports in your name. You can't cover pro wrestling." And now you have Forbes covering pro wrestling.
Yeah, it's an article entitled "WWE Network Content Continues to be Censored Ahead of Move to Peacock." It's by Alfred Konua.
It doesn't matter what his name is.
Yeah. Oh God, there was a blast back to the '90s. There, I apologize if I mispronounced his name. But he has a decent article here, and I'm not mad at this guy or anything. But he's saying in this one here that this is going to require somebody or a team or something is going to have to go through 17,000 hours of WWE material. And they're going to get rid of things that don't meet their NBC's 2021 standards. Now, one thing that they've already cited is they've completely got rid of, not censored, not edited out, not blurred anything. They straight up got rid of the I believe it's Roddy Piper painting. He did half of his body like war paint in black for his feud against Bad News Brown at WrestleMania 6. That's gone. The whole match, all that shit's gone.
Deleted.
Oh my God.
What else?
They've got one. Remember the one where Vince McMahon was trying to be all cool, whatever, with Crime Time, and he kind of did up the do-rag, and he dropped like that N-bomb that nobody is allowed to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, they edited that out. And I'm just thinking, how much longer?
Dude, they're gonna shit their pants when they get to ECW.
Oh my God, yeah, dude. This is. I got to ask you, Coco.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Honest question. I mean, do you think this is going too far? I mean, wrestling with stuff without context. Without context.
I have a very unpopular opinion, and I think about this a lot, and I know it's beautiful about my opinions. They piss off both sides, so I'm ready to get pissed off. I don't think anything should be deleted or censored. I do think it should be age restricted. I don't think you should erase history. You should learn from history. I think we should be a forgiving society. I think we should educate. If we delete everything, then history will keep repeating itself. And on top of that I do think we should do age restriction. What parents think. It's just you should be 18 and plus. That's it. You should just have a guy. This is 18 and plus. This is not. This is 18 plus. This is not. If you're going to erase everything that's horrible about history, human beings don't exist. And end of story. Human beings don't exist. We are horrible creatures.
I would almost be, I can maybe understand where these guys are coming from here because everybody's so sensitive these days. But here's the thing, this is no different than like a movie or a stage play. I mean, the bad guys have to do bad things to be bad guys. I mean, because remember, it's to elicit a response in the crowd that at the time was designed to sell tickets, pay-per-views, to get people watching, to get them to cheer for the good guy. And then more times than not, remember, the bad guy usually gets his comeuppance in the end.
Well, this is WWE. There's a lot of
Well,
times the
true,
bad guys didn't get.
true.
I mean, we're still waiting for Stephanie McMahon to get hers.
You know,
A good storyteller.
mhm.
But I don't know. I think that we should improve ourselves. We should try to be better. We should learn from our mistakes. I don't think we should erase our mistakes. I think we should forgive our mistakes and move
You know, and
on.
not even, I don't even know,
And
I wouldn't even say that they're mistakes.
well,
mean, it's
up to
just,
today's standards.
it's a show. It's a show.
Yeah, it's a show, but up to today's standards, people are different. And here's the thing that cracks me up: all these people that are censoring it, um, all these people that censor it, because when I'm not cursing about pro wrestling, I'm actually a teacher, and I see parents all the time overprotect their kids and then ask why they're weak. I have a generation of students that don't know what it's like to be homeless. I have a generation of students that don't know what it's like to be an orphan. They are covered by censor so much. Like, I work at a very wealthy school, and there was added to the curriculum what it's like to live in poverty. That's how far censorship has gone. These kids don't know what poverty is. So we're going to censor it. And here's the thing too, like, you if you censor and delete everything and you don't educate, then today's kids are going to be weak and they're going to repeat history. That's it. I think there should be 18 and up, and there should be rules moving forward for today's generation. But if you want stuff censored and then you complain that this generation is weak, you're the villain. You're the villain. I don't think anything throughout history should be censored. And a lot of people that are on the left or right, they use examples of censorship in history, and because they always think you got to take a side. I'm like, I don't think history should be, erased. And they're like, oh, but what about whitewashing history? I stand by my fucking statement. I don't think history should be erased. I think we should learn. I think we should try to be better. I don't think we should erase history. And I know this offends everybody, most likely, but you can't have a generation where we protect them, where there's a class for poverty, and then blame the younger generation. You can't censor everything. I remember we went on a camping trip, and one of the kids scraped their knee, and really old kids were crying and scared and all that. I was like, yeah, because they'd never seen blood in their life. They'd never seen an injury. You can't coddle a human being and then blame that human being for being soft. You can't do it. So when it comes to censorship, I do believe there should be one censor. Is it 18 plus or not? Now, if Peacock doesn't want 18 plus content, that's cool, but that's what you say. You don't go there, because then you decide what is important, what's not important. Then you get a Gina Carano Mandalorian situation, where the Mandalorian says something, Gina Carano says something, oh, but it depends on what side of the fence you are. Do not erase history. Become a better person from learning from history. And I do believe it should be 18 plus and up. Peacock, you want to do something right? Say this. We're going to rate everything 18 and plus, and we're not going to air 18 plus content.
Yeah, because I mean, look at the stuff that went on in the Attitude Era alone. I mean, Mae Young giving birth to the Hand.
They're just
remember
have.
remember Sammy the transvestite? That was essentially the punchline in that whole joke there with Mark Henry. It turned out China said, "Oh, I don't feel like I'm enough woman for you, so I brought my friend Sammy," and then it turned out to be a tranny. The Katie Vick angle.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that didn't age well.
Oh, I know. Oh my God, I can't wait till these censors get to the Billy and Chuck stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna find it weird, and I want to see what goes through and what doesn't. Because here's the thing about NBC, YouTube, Peacock, Disney. They don't have strict rules. They have values, and throughout history, I talk about this at work all the time. Throughout history, whenever you hear a corporation or a military or a government say values, that translates throughout history. We eliminate people that think differently. And if you're in charge, feel great, but you won't always be in charge. You know what I mean? I'm going to find it interesting what they ban and don't ban. I'm more interested in what they don't ban. I'm going to find that to be
Because I
interesting.
mean, if you're going to go down this rabbit hole here of, oh, we're just only going to ban, quote unquote racist stuff. Well, how much longer before you get to like, remember Goldust when he first debuted and went through all that stuff with Piper
Oh man,
at
no,
that.
talk about 80s wrestling. Everyone was a character, especially WWF.
Oh
WWF
God,
was
yeah, I
horrible
remember
at this in
in
the
the '80s.
80s.
Hell, Dr. D. Dwight Schultz. This is back during the territory days. Walked out there, in a T-shirt that had a fucking swastika on it. Then said that Hulk Hogan was a homosexual and he had AIDS.
So
I'm
stupid.
quoting here, and I'm just like, wrestling's always been gritty, push the envelope. That's part of the, it's what part of the niche audience that it draws. And
I've
I
been.
think you're
Go
you're
ahead.
taking stuff out of context. In the context of a wrestling match, I mean, a bad guy is going to do bad things.
No, would be very interesting.
He's,
This would control censorship and not delete history. Anything that Peacock or these big companies decide is not okay for their network comes free domain. I bet you they would censor a hell of a lot less. Just, okay, fine. ECW doesn't make it to Peacock. That's all free domain now.
oh, I guarantee it. Nothing Colonel De Beers ever did is going to make it to anywhere. Because
No.
that literally that was his gimmick. The Colonel De Beers character was a racist. That was his gimmick. He was a bad guy. He was part of his whole gimmick was he was South African. He was part of the apartheid government, and he refused to wrestle Jimmy Snuka. He refused to have a referee. Why? Because neither one of them were white.
Yeah.
And he was portrayed as a bad guy.
I don't know. I just think you should do 18 plus. 18 plus. That's it. Like it just makes it simple. It's 18 plus. But here's the thing. Every day we become a more peaceful, enlightened. Some people see cowardly, soft. Depends on like your point of view, how you describe it. But hard times create hard men. Hard men create soft times. Soft times create soft men. The cycle goes on. Um, I kind of wonder what is WWE gonna do when if we keep going in this direction, you can't show a punch, you can't show a clothesline, and people are like, oh, that's silly, but is it? So to me, I know a lot of people are gonna get offended. I just think the world should be black and white, 18 plus, not 18 plus. And if you are going to censor a collection, it should be free domain. I don't think you should erase history, and I think we should be more forgiving and understanding and be more open-minded. That's where I am. Am I an asshole? Of course I am. Because but yeah. But I think just
Yeah,
deleting everything is
I'm kind
ridiculous.
of from the philosophy like you. It's like, put it all out there. Let people decide if they want to watch it or not. Let people decide if it's for them. You can I mean, hell, they're doing that with classic movies now. I mean, they're putting warning labels on everything. I mean, I think they're going a little too far with that, but, I think it's better than outright, just, cutting stuff out and censoring it. I mean,
I'm
just,
okay. I'm okay with warnings.
I
That's
mean,
just
warnings, yeah, I'm fine with. I
I'm
think in
fine with
some cases it goes too
warnings. I'm
far.
fine with 18 and plus. I'm not fine with deleting history because if you work with today's youth, you could see it's going to backfire. It
And
is
and
just
plus sometimes
going
you
to
need to see how
backfire.
boneheaded people can be. Because I mean, remember when WWE did that match between I think it was Daivari and the Undertaker? This is back during the Muhammad Hassan character, and they aired this one where Sean Daivari wrestled the Undertaker, and then he lost the match. But then all these guys in military fatigues and masks surrounded the Undertaker. They beat him up, choked him out, and then they lifted up Daivari like a martyr. And they aired it on the same day that terrorists had bombed the London Underground.
Yeah. I find it funny that the biggest pieces of shit in our society, the McMahons and others, are getting rich tearing down the type of people they are. I just find that part amazing. Like, for years, KocoSports have been like, no, this is horrible, this is horrible, this is horrible. And they're getting rich by destroying the type of people they are. You know what? And people say Vince McMahon's a genius. I agree. Oh, man. It reminds me of Futurama. We got it when Bender tries to cancel Bender.
Oh yeah.
Like, Vince McMahon is a horrible human being. We can all agree on that, right? And now he's getting rich to censor his horrible, horrible ideas.
But do you feel like this is only the beginning? Do you feel like more stuff is coming? Because WWE owns more than just the WWE library. You know, is this going to have a ripple effect on wrestling right now?
Yes and no. What's gonna happen, in my opinion, and it happened with world leaders, and it will happen with entertainment. It happens with YouTubers. Um, when you create an atmosphere where everything is censored, it's gonna make really horrible shock jocks become popular.
Yeah, I mean, I
You know,
think when you
like,
start making things taboo, when you start, like it's kind of like it would be like almost like the equivalent of like back when you were a kid, you used to have that Playboy magazine under your mattress. Now it's gonna, but instead of like like a skin mag, you're gonna have something like, ooh, check out this match between Booker T and Triple H. Remember Triple H had, said that his
Triple
kind
H, that
was
was the
supposed to be.
worst.
No, I know. His con was supposed to be the champion. Said he was going to make him his limo driver. Or, ooh, check out this one right here, Baby Doll. She lost that. Dusty Rhodes won a match and made his slave for a month or whatever. There was
Yeah,
all
I,
kinds
I
of.
just I just
Trying to
find it
remember.
funny the ones that are censoring the most are the most evil fucking douchebags you could possibly meet on planet Earth. Like, they are fucking horrible human beings. We know this, right? I don't know. I think right now there's a youth that they feel like they have to accomplish something because our generation was lazy, our parents' generation was evil, they are fucked. They feel like they have to accomplish stuff, and this is the easiest thing to accomplish. And eventually they're going to censor stuff to where, like, eventually they're going to censor themselves, and then they'll admit that it went too far. But we are going to see a lot of stuff be deleted until we see that. And, and also, too, like, there are groups of people, and there are groups of people that deserve to be treated better throughout history and haven't. That's just a fact. We're going to erase that history, and it's going to be awkward, but there have been people throughout
Or they're
history.
just going to do it to somebody else.
Yeah, there's been absolute horrible things throughout humanity. But the problem is that they want revenge and they want to attack and they feel justified in doing so. And this is like I learned this from Middle Eastern man when I was over there. He's like, this is human society. If you see one guy get beat down by a bigger guy and he just beats them down, and the masses or someone bigger than him stops him from beating, and then they beat up the guy that beat him up, the one that was beaten will always kick that guy. And he's like, that's why human society has to learn and forgive and move, you know what I mean? And right now, a lot of people that had power, they're not getting kicked. They're censoring and getting billions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So I find it to be interesting. And I always remember that. Like, yeah, if someone was held down, your people were held down, you're gonna want to kick back. And when the kicking is done, the world will be a better place. But the problem is, sometimes it just feels good to kick a motherfucker. And if you've been kicked your whole fucking life, You know what I mean? It's kind of
It
like
feels good when you do the kicking for a change.
exactly, and that's what's gonna happen right now. So we have to forgive. We can't delete stuff, and we just have to move on. But the thing is, people are gonna be
Yeah.
like, no, no, you're just siding with. I don't give a fuck about sides. I don't. You know what I mean? Boom, boom. You can vouch how little I care about your fucking sides.
Oh, he really does not care. He
Um,
just
but
does not.
but I think the best case scenario. Can I just say best case scenario?
Hmm.
You make it 18 and plus and not. And if you don't have an 18 plus section on your site, that then that is free domain. Then the 18 plus, not 18 plus, moving forward, Peacock, because they pay a lot of money, tell WWE what the product is. And I'm not just picking on Peacock and WWE. I think that's the way all censorship should be. And warnings, sure, have warnings out the fucking yin yang. Um, for people that helps, that's awesome. But for people that are like, oh my god, there's 17 warnings before a movie, dude, you're not fucking reading them. You know what I mean? But if there's something out there that's like, oh, this is offensive, this hurts, because it is entertainment, it is escapism, and you shouldn't, if it really bothers someone. But that's the thing, you always have to ask, especially when it comes to a mob of Twitter people and all that. You have to ask, does it really offend you? And then you have to ask them individually. Because I've ran into people who are like, this offends me. And then I look at them in the eyes, I'm like, are you sure it offends you? I mean, if it offends you, let's ban it. And then they're like, well, I don't know, man. I just fucking want to be part of a group.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Usually it's
I'm
like the
fucking
people
locked
who are
in.
calling like ban stuff. They're not really offended by it, but they're acting like they're offended by it because it makes them feel better or appear to be a better person.
Well, it feels like you made a change. And
Yeah. Okay.
throughout
Okay. That's a
history,
better way to put it.
human beings want to feel like they made a change. Because if you're not making a change, you can get depressed and feel worthless. So a lot of people right now are down on their luck. And they're like, fuck, I'm locked in my house, most places of the world. I'm not where I thought I would be. Fuck, I thought, and what does everyone say? I thought I'd change the world. It's the easiest way to change the world. You just go and, get a bunch of people and be like, let's do it. And then the worst part is that there are people like that led by trolls. They're just like, wouldn't it be funny to cancel this? Wouldn't it be funny to cancel that? I don't know. I just think if we made it simple, 18 and plus, and new policies moving forward, if you don't have an 18 and plus section, that's free domain. I think that is by far the most fair system, and throw in warnings for everybody. I think that is by far the most fair system for media right now. But they're not going to do that because there's not money in that. So, there you go.
I think that's just what it boils down to is the money and how
Yeah,
marketable you
definitely.
can make it. I think it's just, by the, I guess, bottom line, kids, is the only color that really matters in this world is green.
Yep. So, yeah, I just, and it's easy. Like, here's another example. It's easy to be a good person online. It really is. It's not easy to be a good person in real life. An example that I always use, I work at a lot of different schools, and in Japan, they are racist, but people don't fucking realize that. And some Filipino employees get treated horribly. And I, being fucking not giving a shit about both sides, but in education, everyone leads to one side. And they're like, no, we have to defend. But every time someone that is lower than them is in trouble, they look the other way. They sure as fuck tweet about it, but they don't talk about to the boss. They don't, you know what I mean? Like, even right now, like, people are complaining online about my job. Literally never went to the boss. It's easy. You know what I mean? It's easy to be brave.
It's easier to hashtag than it is to speak up.
Exactly. And that's it. So, yeah. Yeah. Uh,
You know, I just feel like the only thing you could really do in this is actually, I know that we're part of the generation that doesn't like this, but I think we're going to have to say, have physical media. Because, I mean, I know
yeah,
it's
I
a pain
hate
in
the
the butt
fact
to
that's
store
happening.
to store things, but I think we're going to have to get to a point where I have to start back with collecting physical media because I mean these companies, if they want to ban something and they want to censor it, like that Roddy Piper Bad News Brown match, if you want to watch it, you better have a copy of the VHS or DVD.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not ever going to get to see it. Now you
Yeah.
might be able to get it online, but God knows how long until somebody finds it. They throw up a copyright claim, and that gets taken down.
Well, and on that, but right now, a couple years ago, admitting that you were gay was a big step. And now I think admitting that you identify as a different sexuality is a big step. But it's not big steps if you delete everything in the past. You know what I mean? It's just not a big step because the young generation isn't going to know. So like
They're not
you
going to know that that at one point, if you came out as a homosexual, you were risking your career.
yeah, I mean, in some points it still is that way, but it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. But if we delete all that, then all of our heroes that were brave, their accomplishments mean nothing.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you got, and plus, I mean, if you want to go that route, I remember back in the day, back in the 80s, and Coco, maybe you remember this too. I remember back when AIDS was I mean, it was very scary, like to the point where if somebody died of AIDS, they would put that in the obituary. They would put that like died due to complications of pneumonia. I mean, they wouldn't, bring it up. I mean, there was a scene in the Glow series where Bash's butler dies of he died of AIDS, but nobody would claim the body because remember this was in the mid '80s. People were scared; they didn't know. And
Yeah.
I think if you don't have, I mean, they don't have the knowledge that we have now about the disease and its transmission, and if we don't, just look back at that and go, oh my God, this is what it was like when it first started. Look how far we've come. I mean, I think you really can't appreciate. Oh, actually, you can't appreciate how far we've come.
Yeah. So Peacock, I don't. You know what? I'm just immune to people censoring stuff, but I'm very interested to see what slips through
And I'm going to
because I
toss
want to
this out
see
to
what the values are.
I want to toss couple questions out to the internet infantry here. If you're still listening, one, what stuff do you think would be on the chopping block if they start going through WWE material, all their own material with 17,000 hours? What do you think gets on the chopping block? And two, what do you think the solution is?
Yeah. I'm for 18. I'm for the 18 plus. 18 plus, and if you don't have an 18 plus section, that's free domain. You know, and that's it. I think that's it because like I'm just I'm against it. I'm against deleting history. I'm also against if someone did something 20 years
Especially when
ago
it's
and
people
grew.
playing characters
Yeah, that's even weirder. I don't know, but like you're punishing the performer, but the
for doing
creators
their job. I mean,
making
Jesus Christ. I
billions.
mean, Terry Funk did such a good job. People fucking stabbed him.
Well, none of that, but like once again, to steal a line from someone that I talk because I've traveled around the world and I'm really glad I did because it opened up my eyes. But this is the perfect example of this. Like, yeah, you can throw all the pirates you want in jail, but when the king walks by, you best look the other way. And we're looking, not society is looking the other way on King Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon isn't being punished. Piper's family is. Vince McMahon isn't being punished. John Cena Booker T's family is because they're not going to get that cut. You know what I mean? And some of them, what if your character was a racist? You weren't a racist, then you know what I mean? God, imagine if Hollywood worked that way. The guy that played Hitler is fucked. He's like, God damn it. So yeah, it's weird. The king gets rich, and the pirates feel great, ruining each other's lives. Good job, humanity. Good job.
Woohoo! Yeah. Slow clap. Slow clap. Well done, everybody.
All right, boom, but we need a title for this, and we'll put it up. Like, comment, subscribe. No matter what, I love you, and hopefully the human beings keep moving forward. Booms, do you have anything you want to add?
Everybody just take care of yourself. And just bottom line, I know this world's kind of crazy that we live in right now, and it feels like, we're losing control, but you can't control the world, but you can't control yourself. So I would just say, just do this. This is the most simplest thing you can do. Just treat everybody around you, everybody, just treat them the way you would like to be treated. Simple as that. Just treat everybody with dignity and respect.
Sounds great.
And you
Like,
can,
comment,
and it's okay to disagree. I
Oh
want to
yeah,
stress
it's
that.
okay to disagree. That's a
It is
weird one.
okay to disagree.
Yeah, me and Golden Star, we joke about that. Like, I've literally, dude, when I made a video on Jay White winning the title, this is entertainment, this is an opinion. I had people email me say, I thought we were friends. And I'm like, wow, what a fucking psychopath. If you can't be friends with someone you disagree with, you're a fucking weird dude and need help. And that's coming from a weird dude that needs help. All right, love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. And with that, I am over. Hey, ba-dum, bum, bum.